A split second later, Bells was taking out ghouls Lara Croft style, with both pistols blazing and missing nary a skull or kneecap. I waited until she had to reload to begin firing, since I only had a single 30-round magazine available to me. Unlike Belladonna, I didn't carry 6 spare mags on me at any given time. Sure, I had them inside my crane-skin bag, but it'd take too long to rummage around and find them. I paused between shots to provide my retort, if only to save face. "I just always wanted to say that in real life!" I fired 3 more shots, taking out 2 of the advancing ghouls. Blam! 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 But, in hindsight, I realized that finding the perfect context kind of takes the fun out of it. The slide locked back on my Glock, just as I took a bead on a ghoul advancing up the stairs toward us. "I'm out!" I yelled. "Then duck or start cutting. I don't care which," she replied. I ducked. Hot brass rained down on me as Belladonna's twin pistols ate through the crowd below, as well as those who had made it to the stairs. I tossed the pistol back in my bag and drew my short sword, ready to cover for Bells the next time she needed to reload. Belladonna might have been a much better shot than me, but few people could best me at swordsmanship. My long, lean frame and near superhuman agility and speed, combined with years of practice under the watchful eye of Finn, made me deadly with a blade. I was supremely confident in my skills, because I'd tested myself many times. I'd trained with reenactment swordsmen, with practitioners of Western and Eastern martial arts, with machete fencers from the Caribbean and South America, and with stick and knife fighters from the islands of Southeast Asia. And in every single instance, the simple, brutal Celtic fighting style that Finn had taught me held up. That was the thing about modern martial artists. Most of what they practiced was decades or even centuries divorced from the days when practitioners actually had to rely on their skills for their daily survival. That meant many modern fighters had bad habits, derived from practicing for show or points instead of the quick kill. Only once had a swordsman given me a hard time, and that was a Spanish fencer who'd marked the shit out of my limbs for most of our bout. That is, until I'd taken him out Rob Roy style. But, for sheer utility, nothing I'd seen had compared to what I'd learned from Finn, not even the stuff they taught hunters at the Circle. So as soon as I heard Bells reaching for her last 2 magazines, I leapt into the fray. I caught the first ghoul just as I turned the corner on the stairs, dropping low under a lunging grab and slicing his quadriceps just above the knee. His stench almost made me choke, but I followed through cleanly and pivoted with a backhanded stroke that took the thing's head clean off. There was no pause in my movements as I stabbed the next in line through the brain via a thrust to the nasal cavity. I kicked her in the chest and yanked hard as she fell, feeling the suction on my blade release as I unsheathed it from her head. I lopped another ghoul's hands off as it reached for me, a tactic that meant little to the ghoul but kept it from pulling itself closer. I danced back and dropped low, severing its lead leg at the ankle. The thing nearly fell on me, but I rolled to my left to avoid it and came up in the middle of 3 more of the disgusting creatures. I was about to go to town on them when 3 shots echoed from the stairs. All 3 ghouls collapsed in a spatter of brains and gore. I looked around the room. There were no more undead left standing. Bells calmly walked around the space, her face a mask as she dispatched those still groaning and twitching. I helped her in her task by severing a few more heads. Finally, we were greeted by a welcome silence, accompanied by the unwelcome stench of 24 rotting corpses, mingled with the smell of gunpowder and dust. "You think anyone heard that racket?"